Terrell Smith Sr. never thought he would see his 12-year-old son, Terrell Jr., at the hospital like this.
He's got this look in his face, and I just look at him and say, hey, everything's going to be all right. In time, everything's going to be all right.
Words of encouragement just a few days later after both of their lives were changed forever. Smith Sr. says he remembers vividly what happened as they were inside their Dunwoody Court apartment Sunday night in Okolona.
I heard pop, 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 pop.
His son had on headphones playing video games, but Smith Sr. says the sound of gunfire was all he heard.
They were in the house. His son's playing video games. This is the same city that rioted for a year over a drug dealer who was killed during a drug raid when the police were fired on first. There'll be no protest for this kid who was playing video games in his room when a bullet flew through the brick, through the drywall, through the insulation, through the studs, and struck him. There will be no protest. Not even a 12 people protest. There won't even be. The mayor's not going to say nothing. The police chief's not going to say nothing. There'll be no apology. There'll be no. No one cares. And I know somebody who's new to the channel going to say, well, that's because he didn't die. It wouldn't have mattered if everybody in that house had died. If bullets would have riddled that house and everybody in the house had been killed, no one would have cared. Unless a cop had done it.
He's got this look in his face, and I just look at him and say, hey, everything's going to be all right. In time, everything's going to be all right.
Words of encouragement just a few days later after both of their lives were changed forever. Smith Sr. says he remembers vividly what happened as they were inside their Dunwoody Court apartment Sunday night in Okolona.
I heard pop, 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 pop.
His son had on headphones playing video games, but Smith Sr. says the sound of gunfire was all he heard.
I tried to grab him and get him out of the way because the bullets were still flying through the house. And we went into the hallway. He stood there for a minute before I realized how bad he was hit.
One of those stray bullets hit his 12-year-old in the knee.
It looked like a chunk of meat was out of his leg.
Neighbors told WLKY it was a drive-by shooting. Terrell's son, just an innocent bystander.
That's terrorism. To come by there and just randomly shoot into apartments. Because somebody said something on Facebook. Or it's a little dude messing with the same girl as you. He said something about you to that girl. To just come through there, and I'm sure it's all black people over there. Just come through there and just shoot. That's terrorism, man. Like, that's gotta be a terroristic thing. That's not just a gang. That's not just a shoot. They just shoot that up. Because, over some little 17-year-old who hangs around there but probably don't even live around there. A lot of times these guys don't even live around there. They just hang around your neighborhood. And then dudes come and shoot at them and then you get hit.
Neighbors told WLKY it was a drive-by shooting. Terrell's son, just an innocent bystander. While doctors expect him to survive, he's just one of the latest victims in the growing gun violence. From the start of this year to last Sunday, there have been 331 non-fatal shootings, according to LMPD. That's a nearly 50% increase over last year, when during the same time frame, there were about 232.
This is what the Sun people in Louisville have made the legacy of Breonna Taylor. A 50% increase in shootings. That's the legacy of Breonna Taylor. You protested, marched for a year about racism, racist cops, because the cops returned fire. They didn't have to serve that warrant anyway. Bad information, all this other crap. This is the legacy of Breonna Taylor that some people have made. Can't blame white people for this one. Some people made this legacy. The year, first of all, 2020 was the worst year they had in a long time. But now, while you guys were protesting and talking about racism, y'all had y'all worst year in a long, long time. The next year, up 50% from that. And she gonna get a statue too. You better believe it. Oh yeah, she gonna get a statue. She is going to get a statue. I promise you. And make sure you watch episodes at least 1 through 3 of Inside the Breonna Taylor Drug Cartel. Make sure you at least watch episodes 1 through 3 of that. She's going to get a statue. Freddie Gray got a rec center in his honor. George Floyd got statues in cities all over the place. Breonna Taylor is going to get a statue. Trust me. Okay. The Gun Memorial. City of Louisville, 70% white, 25% black. Okay? La Diamond wouldn't be you think they care about La Diamond? You think they care about Charlie? And the reason I focus on women sometimes when I come to the Gun Memorial is because women don't die like this in the street. Very rarely does a woman outside of Blackistan get killed by somebody she doesn't know outside of the home. 90% of women in this country, even the majority of black women get killed in the home by a lover, either disgruntled or the actual lover, husband, boyfriend, whatever. Extremely rare for a woman to be in the street and be killed by someone she doesn't know. Like this. 37-year-old woman killed at a nightclub. Again, not a 17-year-old, a 37-year-old woman killed at a nightclub. This is a shooting at a nightclub. She gets hit. And also because Breonna is, they care so much. That was one of the things. A black woman got killed by look at all these brothers. And I feel sorry for these brothers too, but Jesus Christ. This woman killed in the apartment complex. She was killed outside too. Nine-year-old girl killed in a triple shooting. Her father was killed, and she was killed. 9-year-old girl. This is Louisville. Does it look just like St. Louis? Doesn't it look just like Baltimore? Few more white victims here than those other cities. Got a few more white victims here than I would say than you see in other cities. Did a video on this girl, Antonia Page. Killed. Her and her boyfriend. Shot to death inside of a car. I think she had a business where she did like balloons or something she did. Forgot. Some kind of business she had. She was an entrepreneur. She had a very lucrative business. She had a Instagram page and website and everything, and she was making sales. Killed in the car. Yeah. Twisted balloons, yeah. That was her business. Twisted balloons. She also worked at UPS, General Electric. Such a kind and well-mannered young lady. How often do they say that about sisters? Huh? How often they say that about sisters? Especially that we see on the gun memorial. Such a kind, well-mannered young lady. And I'm not saying that a lot of these sisters aren't good people, but when they say that specific attribute, that specific description, because you can be a good person and not be kind and well-mannered. You could just, you know what I mean? But though that specific description.
From the start of this year to last Sunday, there have been 331 non-fatal shootings, according to LMPD. That's a nearly 50% increase over last year, when during the same time frame, there were about 232.
Mind our own business. We don't bother nobody. I go to work, come home, and that's about it.
Smith Sr. says his focus right now is his son's mental and physical well-being.
And they have to wait and see if his leg is ever going to be the same again. See, because of the fragments and things that shattered.
A journey he'll be part of every step of the way. And tonight, investigators say no arrests have been made. Reporting live at Norton Children's Hospital tonight, I'm Shaquille Lord, WLKY News.